Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to the Plaid Sheep Oracle. Well, your reading. I was actually debating whether to read it backwards, starting with the advice. That's how I was prompted to turn the cards over. I usually start over here and go in order, but I'm going to go ahead and do it in the normal order. Your card is this unicorn. Now it says purity, but that's not what it's about. It is the unicorn, seeing the unicorn. There's some kind of realization you're going to have. And I'm saying that, something that's been happening to me in the last, I don't know, 2-3 months. Cards have been slipping into other decks. So I'll pick up a deck and either sometimes I take a card from the deck that it's stacked on, or I'll leave a card behind and then it ends up mixed in. In this case, a card from the Into the Lonely Woods Oracle was in the Oracle of the Hidden Worlds deck. And the card is realization. It's realization. It may be that it's going to come in an unexpected way or in an unusual way from a direction that you didn't expect. Because it's not right. It came out in a deck that was not its own. And that's like this unicorn. That you're not going to see it. I mean, maybe you don't see it when you're in meditation or you're in divination. Maybe you see it. I don't know. You're watching something on Netflix, or you're reading something, or watching a YouTube video on gardening, or or you're having a conversation with somebody, or you overhear something on the street. There's you're on the subway and the people next to you are having a conversation about something. Or it comes in your dreams, even if you don't normally get things that way. Maybe you don't really remember your dreams, but this time you do. And it's very clear. Or it's sandwiched inside something else in some way. I think there's so many different ways this can be. The advice right out of the gate is to be really open. To not have a lot of specific expectations. I mean, you can expect that things will work out, that things will be well. That's a lovely expectation to have. But not specific expectations about how this realization is going to come. The visible underlying here is growth. You've been doing things to help yourself out. You've been doing things to feel better, to feel like what the heck's going on. Scorpio likes to know. I have Jupiter in Scorpio, and it has this kind of detective. Now, I like to know, I dig down. Scorpio likes to know. And with these toadstools and this growth, it does feel as if maybe you've been here for a long time. It feels like it's been a long time. In fact, right below that, we have this patience. And they're both looking over here. You know, I almost feel like they're looking over here, waiting to see this unicorn. But they haven't seen it yet. And then below patience is trust. And then knowledge. And strength. And I'm going to go one more. Power. And I'm actually also going to say beauty. Oh, and then I have to go one more after that. Miracles. Oh, where am I? Wisdom. And then new beginnings is next. I'm going to stop there. There may be something. There is a little bit of a feeling of Venus here. She's just entered Libra. And she is trining Pluto, who is one of your guides. Mars is at home in Scorpio. He's hanging out with Mercury in there. And in a few days, he and Mercury are going to meet. And Mercury is going to enter his retro shade. He turns retrograde in November and goes from Sagittarius back into Scorpio. And then Venus will enter Scorpio in the beginning of November during Scorpio season. And this Scorpio season is going to be very watery. There's going to be a bunch of grand water trines with Jupiter and Neptune on one end. Neptune in Pisces, Jupiter in Cancer. And then Mercury, Mars, the Sun, and Venus all forming a grand trine near the end of Scorpio. It starts actually right after Scorpio season starts. October 23rd is Mercury's trine. And then Mars. And then Venus will reach that point, I want to say on the 27th of November, but don't quote me. After the sun has moved into Sag. So there's watery, lots of water. Lots of really, and especially extra expansive water. I mean, Neptune in Pisces, that is as expansive really as it gets. And Jupiter is part of this. I actually want to say that the realization is going to come before then. I can't be certain about that. It may depend on you particularly. But I feel like you will already know. And I'll get to why I think that. The underside here is this reflecting pool. And not so much stillness, but this seeing, right? She's seeing her reflection as a swan. Whatever this realization is, it is about the self. Nine of emotions, excuse me, Nine of Cups. There is here this sense of waiting, but not a kind of endless waiting. Many years ago, when I was a kid, I was going on a trip to Europe and my passport renewal hadn't come in the mail. And I was leaving in just a few days, so we went to the passport place, the main passport place in the city, and we waited, I kid you not, for 7 hours. We actually waited on a line to then find out what line after that we had to wait on. That is not this. This is this, I don't know, this stillness, this growth that's happening, this patience. I want to say the assembling of all these crystals. Below that is this Queen of Voices. Clarity, understanding, and then actually I'm going to go one more to this Six of Voices, which is my Guided by Spirit card. And then the underside here is the Fool. So the Fool is right there waiting, like about to go. Just looking for the signal. So then we have this Temperance card, again, this realization. There it is. And then there's this Six of Emotions. And kind of because, I mean, there's this sort of triangle here, and there's 3 people. So this is part of why it feels to me that this realization is going to happen before Scorpio season begins. And I think why you're getting this reading now, today. It was going to happen today that I was going to record this, and you will see it tomorrow. On the Ides of October, October 15th. So after then those 3 grand trines will make sense. You know, they will unfold, because then we also have the High Priestess and this Page of Emotions, Page of Cups. You will be ready. In other words, by the time these grand trines happen, by the time the sun moves into Scorpio, I think. I mean, it might even be, you know, immediately after you watch this. Or maybe it even happens right before and you watch this and go, yeah, that happened this morning. So we have here returning home. Transition, life between lifetimes, loving welcome. And this, as you may know, is an energy, this energy of returning home, of homecoming, of a real sense of the full self, human and spirit, of a fuller understanding of reality, a sense of ease, you know, just, oh, yes. I see, I understand, I am home. Below that is this Light Dancer. Illumination, the radiant self, shining soul. It has sort of a feel of the star card to it. And then on the underside, interestingly, is this Spirit of Spring. Freedom, action, power. So the ability, you know, and it's kind of interesting, this is a very gentle card, right? She's a gentle spirit. She's got this, you know, bird and her nest with eggs in it. She's going to be very careful and gentle. And then we have freedom, action, power as the keywords. Again, this feeling of things that don't necessarily, or that we don't think fit together, coming together. Also, perhaps the power of gentleness, the power of stillness, the power of patience, the power that we have at home. You know, often we travel great distance to find wisdom, right? That's a thing. You know, maybe we go on a pilgrimage, or we investigate cultures very different from our own. In order to find wisdom that we think isn't immediately available. And then maybe we come home, or we see how wisdom is kind of everywhere, that there's this thread that runs through traditions, wisdom traditions. But that's not to say that we shouldn't have gone, but that it can be really lovely to come home. Then we have this pathway, direction, purpose, change. And what's interesting is that I feel like she's actually about to turn around. That this moon is this unicorn. She's seen it. And now that's enough. She doesn't have to go all the way up the hill to touch the moon. She can turn around and go back. And then the healing temple of the lunar light, life cycles, energy healing, communication. There is something about the moon. There will, of course, be a Taurus full moon and a Scorpio new moon in November, or yes, in November. But maybe there's this, the moon's association with mystery. It may be that this realization is somehow connected to the moon in your chart. Could also be the progressed moon in your chart. Perhaps, since I'm thinking to say that. There's something, maybe we'll get more as we go, because the moon does show up again. And then we have the hidden worlds. This is the card of the deck. It's on the changing consciousness, awareness, extrasensory perception. This understanding. I mean, maybe a crap ton of stuff has been happening to you. And either you don't know why, or maybe you do understand that all of this spiritual work that you've been doing has been opening you up. But that you haven't seen the kind of the end place. Maybe it's been a lot of chaos. Maybe you felt overwhelmed. And there's something, I'm being really drawn to this light bindi she's got happening on her third eye. that until the process is complete, until we've reached this 9 of Cups place, it may feel really chaotic and out of control or simply overwhelming. And it may be that understanding this is enough. What's coming to mind is, if you're waiting for a train and you don't know, I've had this experience waiting for the subway, especially late at night or in off hours, and you've been waiting for a little while, and you can get into this headspace where you think the train is just never going to come. Or you're going to be there for like 2 hours. And then at some point we got these signs that to tell us when the train was coming. And maybe it is a long way. Maybe there's been something, or it's late at night and it's going to be 20 minutes before the train comes. But just this acknowledgement, a kind of proof, yes, the train is coming. I might have to wait a little bit longer still, but I know it's coming. There isn't a kind of open-endedness where I'm just in limbo. And maybe that's enough, but there could be more, that is this realization. I'm kind of feeling, right, this unicorn, the moon, this fairy figure, all feel connected, maybe like the same energy, the same thing. So then we have this Ace of Cups. And, how it feels is that you've been given this cup and you're initially not quite sure what to do with it. Or you kind of know, but there is a sense, because below it is this 8 of Pentacles. I really like this 8 of Pentacles because there's this, right, this imagery of the work and the worker, the creator, being in communication with one another. So there is, but below that, I wasn't going to say, but I'm going to say, is the 7 of Swords. And then actually is this Knight of Cups. Oh, and then there you are, Death. And actually the 6 of Swords. There's a lot of repeating cards in this reading. I usually have at least one, kind of my confirmation that things are laid out well. And in fact, I'm going to go one more to this 5 of Pentacles, where this can be the feeling of overwhelm. There's these rising seas. Right? Is somebody going to come and get you, or is the water just going to close over you? Well, there is a boat. That boat of the spirit guide, the boat of your fellowship of source. And then there you are. So that I have this sense, that, right, there's you've got your cup, and there's this sort of stuff that's happening under the surface. There's this knight who I think is your soul, who's got the cup. They know what the cup is for. They're bringing you the cup. There's this mysterious space of the 7 of Swords where there may have been a lot of information. You didn't know what to do with it. You didn't know how things fitted together. It's like getting a bunch of blank pieces to a jigsaw puzzle. And then there's the work, whatever it is. And you with the cup. But on the underside, appearance number 2 of the Nine of Cups. And she also does look a little bit, you know, maybe there's a lot of choice. She doesn't look stressed though. She may be just a little ambivalent, a little confused, but she's not stressed or overwhelmed by the choice. Queen of Pentacles. This Venus sort of energy that I think is you know, there with you, because we also have this Nine of Pentacles. And this 9 in this deck often looks a little sad to me, or a little, you know, it isn't a kind of dynamic feeling. This Queen of Pentacles is much more in command of things. So if you're feeling a little, you know, right, there's a sense of overwhelm. She's kind of hugging this bird to herself because maybe she feels a little like it's all a little much. That queen is with you. And then there's this Page of Cups. And this is, I think, you really starting to understand what the cup is about. So if we say that seeing the unicorn, having this realization, is you really picking up the cup, receiving it, taking it in your hands, feeling it there. And then I think as we get these water trines and as the water rises, right, if we have you terrified here about the rising waters, that goes away. That fear is gone. You are now, right, you know, you're sitting on your great big fish. There is nothing to fear in the deeps or from the rising waters. And then the world, everything kind of coming together. For some reason, I'm thinking of Christmas. So end of December. I feel like there is something that there's a kind of significant aspect that happens on Christmas Eve, December 24th. I can't remember. I'll try to remember to put it in the description if I find it and feel it's important. But maybe, I mean, you can also look it up if you're interested. Maybe somebody, one of you, has a significant transit happening around that date, somewhere in the end of December. Advent is also coming to me, which is sort of the whole month of December, but that there's a completion point, you know, real understanding and integration of something. And then we have guidance out here in the ocean, right? Not only do you have your fish that can take you wherever you need to go, but there is guidance, there is a lighthouse. Interestingly, in the Mindscapes Tarot deck, the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Tides, has a lighthouse image. And we have this Four of Cups. And this is coming through as overthinking. The Four of Cups is often about apathy or not wanting a particular cup, feeling over it, or not seeing a cup that's in front of you. But with this card in particular, because we have this open head here, there is a sense that you're overthinking it. That this is the one caution that's sort of coming out, is you're going to be, right, you're going to get the cup. You don't need to think about it. This is not a mental, intellectual exercise. You don't have to figure it out, in other words. You don't actually have to dig, Scorpio. You don't have to go down some rabbit hole. It will just, right? The cup that it's just the cup that you're given. You don't have no thinking about it. The bottom here is judgment. Just go. When the realization comes, accept it. The Nine of Cups for the third time. And here, right, your heart space, your core unlocked. This is the coming of mastery of the water realm. Emotions, imagination, consciousness. Then we have humility. You are not in danger of becoming, megalomaniacal. There's just an understanding of what is and the skills and mastery that you have. No false pride or false modesty. Then the invitation. The invitation to, right, to now to step into another phase, into another place. I'm kind of connecting this a little bit with this card and this mirror that she's got, but that shows this road in it. So it may have something to do with these grand water trines. That some project, person, offer, opportunity, something will appear during this phase. And then we have temperance, the pieces coming together of that jigsaw. You got the blank pieces, you didn't know what to do with them, now you know what to do with them. Formal advice. Well, we have the world. So let it happen. Let it happen. Know that you are not alone. Also that there are, I kind of see it as all of these people arriving over time, that it's been a process. It was not something that could happen all at once, because that really would have overwhelmed you. We also have this Seven of Pentacles on the underside. It's a process. There was no other way to do it without, maybe really breaking you, or having you simply not understand. It needed to go in this step-by-step way. All of these people understandings, realizations, bits of knowledge, different skills arriving in the order that they came. Below the world, we have the Six of Swords. You are fine on the water. You are going to be a skilled water person. Boats, fish, swimming, whatever it is. Below that is the Eight of Pentacles. And here, you know, the work at the water's edge. Nine of Cups for the fourth time. Ease, wisdom, maturity, confidence, emotional stability, emotional ease, emotional mastery are all available. All you gotta do, Four of Cups, is accept the cup without perseverating and overthinking it. And so we have the moon. See it, look at it, know it, accept it. Be at ease with it. I want to say that there will still be mysterious things. It's not like suddenly the whole blueprint of the universe will be open to you. You're not going to suddenly know everybody's secrets or know, you know, the entire future of everybody that you meet, or even your own future. That would be overwhelming. So there, mystery remains, but you are more comfortable with it. I'm now kind of seeing this heart thing here as the moon as well. So there's something too about your own moon, your own heart space, your own emotional life. To mind that, to mind your own life in this process, to be kind to yourself. Because it may be that it's been difficult, that it's been painful. Maybe you've, you know, done a lot of crying or a lot of raging, or you know, you've felt confused. Maybe you've snapped at people and been bad-tempered. Maybe you've been, you know, feeling poorly physically. Maybe that's frustrating. Maybe there have been lots of frustrating things where, you know, you feel like you should know the answer and you don't. There is a sense here of a much greater level of comfort with knowing what you know and not knowing what you don't know. And I think that it has everything to do with this realization and with this cup. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles. Keep going. You have been devoted to this path, to this awakening, to this, whatever we want to call it. Maintain that devotion. And here, you know, he has a very, you know, there's a very light feeling to him. He doesn't look like he's trudging. There looks like there's a little bit of speed going on. His hair is flowing in the wind. There's a jauntiness kind of feeling to it today. You know, and maybe I'm thinking now that even though you don't see it, that now you're riding the unicorn. And it may sometimes take over and take you somewhere where you didn't think you were going to go. You know, like this card ending up. But that you can trust the unicorn to carry you. And to not let you fall. Right? Gandalf says that about Shadowfax. He doesn't, you know, if you're on his back, he won't let you fall unless he wants to get you off. Right? He's a magical steed. Scorpio. Riding the unicorn. Accepting the moon. Being open. Right? This realization. I mean, actually, this card is plural, realizations. So there may, in fact, be more than one that happens through this period. That all of the final pieces, the final people joining the party before it really gets going in Scorpio season. I hope this is a confirmatory. I hope that the realization comes clearly and easily to you. And I hope that season of water trines is expansive and beautiful. I wish you all the very, very best, Scorpio. And I'll see you next time. So long.